Tolu and David move through life like two halves of the same coin. From the cracked streets of their childhood to the glass towers of adulthood, they have always stood side by side, fighting, laughing, building. When David wins, Tolu celebrates louder. When Tolu falls, David reaches first. Their friendship feels permanent, like gravity. Then Ada enters. She walks into their world on an ordinary afternoon. Sunlight in her hair, confidence in every step. David meets her at a seminar, and within days she becomes a constant in their conversations. He is dazzled. Ada listens when he speaks, finishes his thoughts, feeds his ambition. When David finally brings her to meet Tolu, he jokes, "This one will marry me." Tolu smiles, offers his hand, and the world shifts a fraction of an inch. Ada's palm is warm, her eyes linger a heartbeat too long. He tells himself it's imagination. Days turn into weeks. The trio becomes inseparable. Ada laughs easily, argues intelligently, and draws warmth into every room she enters. She is kind to Tolu, too kind, asking about his art, his long hours, his dreams. He answers carefully, aware of the quiet spark between their words. He feels guilty for noticing, yet he can't stop noticing. David's work keeps him busy. He travels more, sleeps less. Ada begins to wait, alone at cafes, alone after meetings. Tolu becomes the messenger, the driver, the friend who fills in the gaps. They talk longer each time. One evening, while rain falls on the car roof, she tells him she sometimes feels invisible. He wants to comfort her, but every word feels dangerous. He tells himself friendship can survive temptation. He believes it until the night everything breaks. It's a Friday. David leaves town for a contract signing. Ada calls late, voice trembling. Her car has broken down near Tolu's studio. He drives out without hesitation. The city is dark and wet. She sits in the passenger seat, arms folded, eyes on the window. "Do you ever feel," she whispers, "like you're always waiting for something that never comes?" Tolu says nothing. The question echoes through the silence. At the red light, their eyes meet, tired, lonely, searching. For a moment, everything stops. The rain, the hum of traffic, the logic that held them apart. He turns away first. They reach her apartment. She thanks him softly. He should leave, but her hand catches his sleeve. "Don't go yet," she says. Inside, the air hums with unspoken things. They talk, laugh nervously, remember old jokes. Then silence, long, heavy, full of electricity. Ada's eyes shimmer. She steps closer. He feels his pulse in his throat. Tolu wants to move, to run, to remind himself of David's trust, but he doesn't. He stands still as she rests her head on his chest, just for comfort, just for a moment. His arms rise as if by memory, holding her. The scent of her hair, the rhythm of her breathing, the nearness of her skin, everything blurs. He doesn't cross the line completely, but the moment itself is betrayal enough. When he leaves, guilt follows like a shadow. He sleeps little, eats less, avoids David's calls. Ada too grows distant, her laughter now tinged with something fragile. The friendship among the three becomes a careful dance around invisible cracks. Weeks later, David returns from a trip brighter than ever. "I'm going to propose," he says, smiling. "I've saved enough. It's time." The words hit Tolu like cold water. He congratulates him, forces a grin, feels the air leave his chest. That night, he walks for hours through the city, the neon lights swimming in puddles at his feet. He knows he must tell David everything, but fear keeps him silent. Then truth arrives without invitation. A misplaced phone. A message never meant to be read. "We need to talk about that night. I can't stop thinking about it." David reads it. The world tilts. When he shows up at Tolu's door, rain is falling again, hard and relentless. He holds the phone in his fist. "What is this?" he asks quietly. Tolu's mouth opens, but words fail. David's voice rises, trembling with betrayal. "Out of everyone, you..." The argument explodes. Shouting, broken furniture, years of brotherhood tearing apart in seconds. Tolu tries to explain, to confess that nothing happened beyond that one moment of weakness, but the truth sounds hollow. David's anger breaks into grief. "I trusted you more than anyone," he says. "You knew what she meant to me." Tolu stands in the wreckage of his studio, rain leaking through a cracked window, heart breaking in slow motion. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "I don't expect forgiveness." David leaves without another word. In the days that follow, everything unravels. Ada disappears from both their lives. Mutual friends choose sides. The laughter that once filled every room becomes silence. Tolu keeps working, but nothing feels the same. He catches himself reaching for his phone to call David about small victories or stupid jokes, only to remember the emptiness waiting on the other end. Months turn into years. The distance between them becomes geography, different cities, different lives. Yet guilt doesn't fade, it transforms. It becomes a quiet ache that visits him when he paints, when he drives past the old bar they used to visit, when he hears a song from the nights they celebrated together. He runs into David once, by accident, at a conference. Time has changed them both. David's hair is shorter. His smile is polite but guarded. They exchange a nod, nothing more. For a brief second, Tolu sees the brother he lost behind those careful eyes. And then he's gone. The years stretch on, and reflection begins to replace pain. Tolu starts teaching art. In his students' work, he sees fragments of his own mistakes, the impulsive brushstrokes, the restless search for meaning. He tells them, loyalty isn't about perfection, it's about remembering who you are when no one's watching. They think he's speaking about art, but he's speaking about everything. Sometimes he writes letters to David that he never sends. He writes about the weather, about a painting that won an award, about regret. He always ends with the same line, "I'm still sorry." He no longer expects forgiveness. He only hopes that, wherever David is, the anger has cooled into understanding. On quiet evenings, Tolu walks by the river near his apartment. The city lights reflect on the water like fragments of memory, beautiful, distorted, unreachable. He thinks of their childhood, of laughter echoing through unfinished streets, of promises made when life was simpler. He wonders if David ever misses those days too. He knows now that betrayal isn't a single act. It's the slow turning away from what you know is right. It begins long before the mistake and lingers long after the apology. And yet, within that pain, he finds something else, clarity. He understands that love and friendship both demand restraint, not because desire is evil, but because loyalty gives life its shape. Without it, everything blurs. He doesn't blame Ada anymore. He doesn't even blame himself every day. He simply carries the memory like an old scar, tender but healed. As he stands by the water, a light breeze brushes past, and he whispers to no one, "We were brothers. I hope you're doing well." A small peace settles in his chest. It isn't forgiveness, but it's something close. The story ends not with reconciliation, but with acceptance. Two men who once shared everything now walk different paths, each learning in his own way that love, trust, and timing can all betray you if you forget how fragile they are. Tolu turns toward the city lights and breathes deeply. The air smells of rain again, like the night everything changed. But this time he smiles. The storm has passed,